Looking to pick up your very own custom sleeves? Well, look no further. Go to yourplaymat.com where you can choose to have your very own image on the back of sleeves, or you can choose from their amazing range of pre-designed artwork ready and waiting for you. Get them shipped directly to your door and use the affiliate link and discount code down below to get 10% off. What are you waiting for? Go and grab your custom sleeves from yourplaymat.com.
What's up YouTube, Dal here from Xyz Games, and today I am bringing you my locals shark profile. So I took this to locals, actually did really well. It was only a fun locals, so nothing too serious, but it only lost to the overall winner, which was Salamangrates. The deck is insane. It can produce consistently 2 to 3 toads, and off of the back of that can also produce a Utopic Draco. So you've pretty much got monster negates plus omni negates as well. Incredibly consistent and very fun to play, so I highly advise picking a deck up like this because this is only going to get stronger in the future. Massive shout outs to Luke, who helped me finish the deck off, and a massive shout out to Joe, who helped me build the deck using inspiration from some of his other videos as well. With all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit the notification bell and subscribe. If you get the video up to at least 50 likes, I will either bring you a test hand combo video for this deck, or I will bring you the first place Salamangrate deck that won the event. I'll also show you the combo at the end of how you can produce 2 to 3 sharks and toads and then go from there. With all of that out of the way, let's dive headfirst into the profile. So we're playing triple Buzzsaw Shark. This is the core, like, normal summon of the deck that you want to be going for. Buzzsaw Shark targets himself or any other, specifically water monster on the field. Special summon a level 4 fish from your deck. It doesn't even need to be level 4. Just one fish monster from your deck, the same level as the monster that it targets. But obviously the idea of this entire play is you're just going to go rank 4 spam, get into Shark, bring out Toads, and keep going from there. Then got triple Lantern Shark. So this is obviously your ideal starter, because the ideal starter is Lantern Shark into Buzzsaw. This basically lets you, when it's normal or special a level 3, 4, or 5 water monster from your hand in defense position. Now keep in mind, both of these cards have the ability to be used for a rank 4 or 5 XYZ. And a 3 as well, so it can be a 3, 4 or 5 for a water XYZ should you need it to, and it locks you into XYZs, not specifically waters, which is why you can also make the Draco as well. For your other starter that if you don't get to Buzzsaw Shark is the Butuna for Princess. This one basically lets you, when it's normal or special, you banish it and then special summon a level 4 or lower fish type monster from your deck except itself. So the idea is that you're pretty much playing, including 1-for-1, 4 more copies to get you into Buzzsaw. Now these are the core cards, but as you can kind of understand, they have massive weaknesses. Is both straight away an Ash on a Buzzsaw or a beautiful Princess, or the Lantern Shark pretty much ends your turn. It's very difficult, which is why we play a lot of water extenders, which I'll get to in a second. So the last card that we play is the Xyz Remora. Xyz Remora is incredibly cool as well. So you can special summon this card from the hand by detaching 2 Xyz materials from a monster or monsters you control. When you do, you can target 2 level 4 fish-type monsters in your graveyard and special summon them. They can't activate their effects and they cannot attack. They can only be used for an XYZ summon for a water monster as well. So again, the idea behind this is you make a Bahamut Shark. There's a spicy tech in the extra deck that you then rank the Bahamut Shark on top of, or you put on top of the Bahamut Shark. Having 2 materials, detach 2, special out the Remora. Remora brings back the 2 fish, the first one you detach off a Shark, and the second of Buzzsaw. And the best thing about this deck is you're consistently getting Toad within 3 summons, or technically I think Toad is your 4th summon, which means your opponent, if they want to Nibiru you, can get stopped by Toad, and you're just going to try and put 2 more. The idea is that if you open up Remora, that is going to be your ability to get into an additional 2 Toads, because Remora plus 2 more level 4s, you're going to be able to XYZ on that, and if you've got your extender, you go even further as well. Speaking of extenders, we play as many cards that you can make Toad for as possible before using your normal summon. So we play triple Tenyi Spirit, double Great White because we use Unexpected Die, and of course Tenyi Spirit can be triggered with Great White as well. Then I've gone with double Angler, double Stingray, and double Aqua Spirit. Now arguably you could make Stingray a free and Silent Angler a free. The issues I was having was I always had Angler when I also had other cards like the White Stingray that I wanted to summon from my hand, and it kind of clashed. The Aqua Spirit was one of those ones where it's like, White Stingray needs a water in the hand, but what if it's a little bit of a later game? I've got a normal summon of a water, but I need a special summon that doesn't discard from my hand. that's where Aqua Spirit comes into play. This is totally down to personal preference on how you want to run the extended engine. I know Joe plays the Wind Up Shark. The reason I decided to cut that right at the last minute was the pure fact that for Wind Up Shark to be utilised at its most potential, you ideally need Buzzsaw to be resolved. Now, the way this works is normal summon Buzzsaw, special summon or target himself, special or Wind Up Shark from the deck, trigger the Wind Up Shark in the hand because a Wind Up Shark has been summoned, and then you go from there. But as you can see from there, I wanted to get as many cards I could literally, apart from Angler, pretty much go special summon, make Shark, make Toad. And at that point, my opponent needs to either stop that first Shark using its effect, or I'm going to get a Toad to protect my Buzzsaw from Imperms, Veilers, and of course Ash Blossoms as well. The final extender that we play is the Xyz Sylph Dolphin. Now this one, there's a bit of a synergy card in here that works for both the Remora and the Sylph Dolphin. And the idea is that when you XYZ summon a monster, you special summon the Dolphin down and it just becomes an additional material. Off the back of that as well, the Dolphin can attach itself to an XYZ monster as material, except the turn it is sent to the graveyard. So that's kind of nice as well. The final fish monster we play is the one Lifeless Leafish. Now, when it is normal summoned, it specifically sends a fish monster from your deck to the graveyard. Now, there's no real ideal ones you want to send unless you're going to send Remora and add it back with the Whitefish salvage. The main effect you're going to be using the Leafish for is you banish it, spin free fish in your graveyard back into the deck, and draw a card. Now, obviously, you only really want to be using one of it. You're going to be bringing it off of Buzzsaw Shark. It's kind of one of the ideal ones to be going for, unless you play the Wind Up engine or anything like that. Another last minute addition was Triple Ash Blossom. You just need to have some form of hand trap in this deck. Like, you can't run this deck without hand traps, because it's like, alright, if I don't go first, I need to be able to slow my opponent down. You could put in Dark Rulers and just bet of going second, or Droplets and going second, but you do need your entire hand. Even though it's only a 3-card combo, getting more water extenders is always going to be a nice little bonus. So that's it for the monster lineup. Pretty much the next card I'm going to show you is technically a monster, and that is, of course, Unexpected Die. So again, bring out the Great White. If you've got a 10 to special summon, great. If not, you get you just normal summon, and you go straight into a Shark Toad at the base minimum. Then a shout out to Joe on this one. We've got Double Generation Force. So again, this is a very old card, and it's if you control an XYZ, you get to add an XYZ card from your deck to your hand. Now, by doing so, what that counts for is obviously Remora, and it also counts as the Dolphin. So if you've already got Remora, you can search out Dolphin. Off the back of that, you can also add the Quick Play spell card as a form of interruption, which targets one of your opponent's monsters and equips it to one of your monsters as material, which can be very nice. But ultimately, I cut it because I just kept seeing the blooming thing in my opening hand. But the idea behind this is you really want Remora. Remora is like your core card to get to. And the reason I've gone with 2 and not 3 is because if I open this up without being able to get to an XYZ, it bricks me and kills me. Whereas if I get this, so part of this combo, you basically want to be seeing the 2 cards that get you into your first Shark and Toad, plus either Generation Force or Remora. And then, like I said, if you already see the Remora, you just add the Dolphin. And if you've already got both of these, you use Generation Force to deck Fin and give you a water discard anyway. So you've just got more abilities to get to your core cards that you need. Again, last minute, I added in Pot of Prosperities. Now, these can be Desires. I did see a lot of profiles were using Desires and we're using Moray of Greed. Now, Moray of Greed is great, but it is very risky because you could be putting back, even if the card you're going to put back, you're obviously ideally going to be bad. But the best thing about Moray of Greed is it doesn't really have a cost. It's not shuffle back as cost and then draw. So that's a nice little feature of it. But the way I kind of saw it was with Prosperity, I've got a bit of flex space in my extra deck that I would rather go first and dig for my one go get in starter combo, or my opponent ashes this and stops it, than trying to risk it on a Moray of Greed or risk it on the Desires. But again, Desires can easily go in here because you do see that we play all of them, or pretty much the majority of our cards are free ofs. And then the extenders, technically you're playing 6 of the just free summon extenders, so they can be anything you want. Double Whitefish Salvage, I'm actually considering cutting this down to 1, if not cutting it completely. I know it sounds bad, but basically you target a fish monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. And then if this card in your possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can take a fish monster from your deck and either add it to your hand or special summon it. Very rare that the second effect is ever going to happen because I don't see why your opponent would want to try and destroy this. Yes, you keep adding the fish back, but the pace of the game right now, it really doesn't matter. You're probably going to get OTK'd or you're going to OTK. So the idea is that you get to add a card back. Now, there are times where if you can't get to Remora, you can bring it out of your deck with Buzzsaw Shark, but the only way you can do that and make use of it is you need to be able to have extenders, because Remora only brings back fish. So you need to make sure you've got 2 different fish in the graveyard already in order to then find the usage of adding back Remora. Sometimes this is also quite nice though, because again, off of your Buzzsaw Shark, you can special summon out an extender in the form of course, the blue stingray, or of course, white stingray, sorry, or of course your silent angler, and then of course you add it back with your whitefish salvage. So there are utilities for it. I'm just questioning how useful it's going to be for me, or how useful it was for me. 1 Monster Reborn as a, again, extender. 1 Call by the Grave, 1 for 1, and 1 Instant Fusion. Again, Instant Fusion counting as an additional extender. Moving on to the extra deck. I literally didn't even want to contemplate or confuse myself by going, have I used an effect? Am I locked into XYZs? So I literally just chose 15 of the best XYZs for this deck, plus 1 Fusion for Instant Fusion. So speaking of Instant Fusion, of course you've got the 1 Rare Fish. Best card, it's a fish card. You could use Mud Dragon if you wanted to, but I'll probably only do that when we get Retort Fusion. And even then, you're probably just going to play like 3 Retort Fusion and maybe 2 Rare Fish, just because it's a free extender whenever you need it. Of course, we are going to be playing Triple Bahamut Shark. You know, with Triple Bahamut Shark comes Triple Toad. Now, you do consistently, or you should consistently get at least 1 Toad, but that's not good enough in today's game. You ideally want to be getting 2 Sharks, 2 Toads, and then turning the Sharks into your number F0, Utopic Future into Utopic Draco Future, and puts in a lot of work. I'll explain that as I do the combo later on. Now, the spicy card that I put on top of the Bahamut Shark is, of course, Drill Driver Vespinato. Now, the way that this works really nicely is you've got 2 materials on Shark. You don't want to detach both the materials to special the Remora from the hand. You ideally want to be able to make a Toad, protect yourself, then put the Vespinato in the extra monster zone. It's very important that it goes in the extra monster zone, because you need the space free in the main monster zone for, of course, your your Sharks. Then, of course, you detach Bahamut Shark and the other material off of Vespinato, and then that will allow you to bring down your XYZ Remora. So again, Vespinato puts in a lot of work. You can, and the one card that I'm missing in this is the Lancer that came out in Eternity Code, because you can make that with your Buzzsaw Shark. So once you've done your first combo and you've gone Shark, or your extenders go Shark Toad, your next combo with Buzzsaw and Lantern can actually end up being your Lancer monster, because that's got a quick effect to detach and pop a card. But ultimately, the way I see it is I was always going for a second Shark to get to Toad, because then it leaves me with 2 Toads and at least a Utopic Draco Future. Speaking of which, the place of the Lancer went to a Utopic Future purely because this was very easily out of Dragoon. And the idea is that once you've done your 2 Sharks and you've got your 2 Toads, you then overlay the 2 Sharks, go into Utopic Future, and then use Utopic Future to go into Draco Future. So then you've got a monster with 3 materials, because it doesn't keep the materials that Shark has. So you get 2 Sharks plus Utopic Future plus the materials, so you've got 3 negates off of your Draco Future. It can't be destroyed by battle or card effect, and if your opponent activates a monster effect, you can negate it. If it was a monster effect that activated on the field, you get to take control of said monster. And then, of course, you're backing this up with 2, or if you open up the nuts, 3 Toads as well. And yes, the biggest weakness of this deck is Dark Ruler No More, because they drop that, you pretty much go, okay, I guess I lose. And that's my biggest disappointment with this type of deck. But I still love it. Then for the other rank 4s, we've got Abyss Dweller to boost all your water monsters and, of course, deal with Graveyard. Tornado Dragon to deal with back row. And then a card that I actually made today and helped me beat over Dragoon was Gargoyle Magician. So what Gargoyle Magician does, which is really kind of cool, is you can detach 1 material from this card to target an XYZ monster in your graveyard except himself and special summon it, but its effects are negated. Only use the effect once per turn. So the idea is you detach 1 material, bring back an old Bahamut Shark, and then you can overlay the Bahamut Shark and the Gargoyle Magician, because they are both rank 4s, and you will go into your Utopic monster, Utopic Future. And then that can either stay on its own or goes into a Draco Future. But the effect that helped me get over a Dragoon was, during my main phase, I detached 2 materials, then target an XYZ monster you control. To the end of this turn, its attack goes to 4,000 and negate its effects. So what I actually did was I had a Vespinato with no materials, used Gargoyle Magician, detached 2, made this 4k, crashed into the Dragoon, killed it both, and then obviously I could probably trigger the Vespinato effect to special, but I'd already filled the board up with Toads to protect further on as well. And then of course the last boss monster you've got is Zeus. Zeus is a bit risky because ideally you don't want to be going Bahamut Shark and then put Zeus on top of that, but sometimes it happens. And the idea that by putting it on top of Bahamut Shark you would have already had a Toad. So it's a bit risky because the idea is that you want to use Toad to negate and then Zeus to clear the board. But again, when you're facing boards with Dragoon and boards that are constantly building up their background and stuff like that, Zeus is one of the best cards to go for. So you can just make a generic rank 4, Abyss Dweller, turn off the graveyard, attack with Abyss Dweller. As long as it survives the battle, then go Zeus on top. You're not going to be able to boost up loads of materials unless you literally go make a rank 4 and then put Vespinato on top and then attack with Vespinato, make Zeus. So, which is very, very specific, and it's a very, very direct route, but it will, of course, allow you to pretty much maintain 3 to 4 cards depending on the way you go about it. And that's it for the deck. I've had an incredible amount of fun putting this deck together, an incredible amount of fun playing it. I do see it has glaring weaknesses. Like I said, Ashin, Valar, or the normal summon, unless they've used extenders to make a Toad beforehand, can be very, very damaging. Nibiru isn't really a threat for the deck. But then also, on top of the back of that, yes, your board is looking very impressive with 3 Toads and a Draco, but if they Dark Ruler you, you pretty much fold in from there. Okay, so the 3-card combo can be Bountiful Princess. You basically need a way to get to Buzzsaw. So whether it be 1-for-1, whether it be the Princess, whether it be Buzzsaw himself. You need a way to get to Remora, so whether it is Remora himself, or of course the way of utilising the Whitefish Salvage, or your Generation Fusion Focus, sorry. And then off the back of that, you just need a free extender. So whether it be your normal summon of a Lantern Shark, whether it be an extender of Aqua Spirit once you've made your play, or whether it be an extender of your White Stingray, or right at the last kind of cause, after you've used the Remora, you use Angler. So you've got loads of consistency there. It can even be the Dolphin on top of that, not to mention an Unexpected Die, or of course a Tenyi Spirit as well. So you've got loads of consistent ways of actually getting to this. Now this is to get, I'll use the ideal one, this is to get your 3 negates. This is to get your 3 Toads plus a Draco Future, but by taking one of these away, even the Remora, as long as you've got extenders to carry on that place, then you're good to go. But just by taking away the Lantern Shark, you still have the ability of getting 2 Frogs and Utopic Draco. So, with this one, ideally extender, any extender you've got, plus your Buzzsaw Shark. Your Buzzsaw will then target either one, doesn't matter, and special one from the deck. The probably one you want to be going for will be your Life Fish, just because it will give you that ability to draw into an extender should you need to, but again, keep in mind you need to be able to fill the graveyard up. Then what you do here, of course, is you're going to overlay these, you're going to go into, no surprise, a Shark. Shark will then use its effect and bring out a Toad. I'm trying to see if I can zoom this out anymore. No. So this is what your board's currently looking like. And again, it's very important about this extra card as well because it does take up zones. And you need to make sure that ideally your extender comes after you've used the Remora. So again, very, very specific. So I'm going to move these down here. So this is our main zones. And then what you want to do is you want to put in the extra monster zone, your Bahamut Shark, and go into Vespinato. Now keep in mind from here, you're going to have 3 zones spare. You're going to have your left zone, your right zone, and then of course you've got your zone for your Remora. So, you're going to use the effect of Remora to detach 2, which means your graveyard is currently going to be sitting at a Bahamut Shark, a Buzzsaw, and a Lifeless Fish. Again, it's important that it has to be fish. These go to the graveyard. You special summon down your Remora. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to see if I can bring the camera up a little bit. There we go. Perfection. So, let's move that box out of the way. There you go. So, this is currently what your board is like. Your Vespinato's in the extra deck, and this is your graveyard. So the Remora has been summoned. That will then trigger its effect to bring back your Buzzsaw and bring back your Lifeless. So again, take away the extender, your board is still good because you're then still able to go into a second Shark. You need, if you're going to be doing this, if you don't open up the extender, you don't go into Vespinato. You need to go into something else because your extender gets you the job done. But opening up the extender gives you your 3 cards that you need. So then you just go, okay, sweet, Bahamut Shark, overlay into... And even if you don't want to do a 3rd Toad, you could do Abyss Dweller, but keep in mind, to get the Utopic Draco, you need monsters of the same rank. So, 1 Bahamut, 2 Bahamut, and that's going to bring you out your double Toads. Boom, boom. And then you go Shark on Shark, get rid of the 2 fishes that are underneath it, go into Utopic Future, go into your Draco future as well. And then at any point to recur the card you've just gone, you've got 1, 2, 3 fish straight there. Leafless fish, banish this, put these 3 back in, draw 1 random card, so boom. So then you'll still have 2 more cards to play around with from your opening hand. Not to mention that if you didn't get the extender to get your 3rd Toad, you're ultimately, if you don't get the extender for your 3rd Toad, your board ultimately looks like this instead. Which is still insanely cool, because you'll still have, as long as you've used the Leaf Fish, you might have 4 cards in hand, or you'll just have 3. It really doesn't matter. Your opponent still needs to deal with 2 Toads that are then going to recur resources from your graveyard, so can bring back your extenders. And then, of course, you've got a Draco, can't be destroyed by battle, can't be destroyed by card effect, and can negate a monster effect, not to mention can steal it. So if you end up stealing an opponent's level 4 monster, that's when you're going to go Abyss Dweller next turn and beef them up. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is it. Very straightforward and simple. Absolutely love the deck. Like I said, that I showed you how consistent you can get to these pieces, and it really depends on if you get interrupted or not, depending on how far you can go. But it's still a very, very powerful and a very, very fun deck. Like, I'm not saying this is going to topple the meta, because it does have its glaring fragilities, but it's still a very, very good and fun deck, and I had huge amounts of fun. So again, a massive shout out to Joe, and a massive shout out to Luke for helping me complete this and put this deck together. But as absolutely always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you get this video to at least 50 likes, it will unlock either a test hand combo video for this deck, or the first place Salaman Great List that won the event as well. Just let me know which one you would prefer to see, or I might do both of them if this gets to like 70 likes as well. As absolutely always, guys, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.
Looking to pick up your very own custom sleeves? Well, look no further. Go to yourplaymat.com, where you can choose to have your very own image on the back of sleeves, or you can choose from their amazing range of pre-designed artwork ready and waiting for you. Get them shipped directly to your door, and use the affiliate link and discount code down below to get 10% off. What are you waiting for? Go and grab your custom sleeves from yourplaymat.com.